Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sakura Wise, and I react to anything Marvel related. So that's what I'm doing today. Yeah, and yeah. So that's what we're going to be reacting to. What if the Marvel universe was in the Tournament of Power by Chuck the CUCK? And I already watched Chuck's videos a lot, so I might react to his videos more. But he's I like his channel. Anyway, we get into the video because I know y'all don't have a short attention span.
And you guys saw the title, you saw the thumbnail, you already know what's going down. We're going to be discussing what if the Marvel Universe wasn't the Tournament of Power. Now, before I begin, I'd like to thank you guys for helping me reach 15,000 subscribers. That is amazing. It's a great milestone. Thank you guys a lot for supporting me and watching my content. I really appreciate it. But before I get into which fighters we're going to be talking about, obviously telling you guys the rules. So, obviously, as we know, the Angels, the Gods of Destruction are not allowed in the tournament. And obviously, many of these universes have some really weak people, like we've already seen two universes get wiped out, Universe 9 and Universe 10. And even the universes that seem weak or they don't have, God tiers, they're still able to stay alive, because they can use strategy, they can hide really well. And that's going to play a really good factor for some of the fighters on the Marvel team. So, as I said, obviously, you can't have deities, so Sky Fathers and abstracts or, cosmic entities like Eternity, the Beyonder, or Living Tribunal, those guys obviously wouldn't be allowed in the tournament because they would be overpowered and they would like one-shot everyone on the tournament. So the 10 selected fighters are Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, Thor, the Asgardian God of Thunder, Sentry, the man with the power of a million exploding suns, or you could also compare him to the Superman of Marvel. Hulk, the strongest one there is, allegedly. Iron Man,
Allegedly.
The billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Doctor Doom, the evil mastermind. Silver Surfer, the second strongest herald of Galactus. Ultron, the deadly artificial intelligence. Gore, the God Butcher, a really unexpected fighter on the tournament. And finally, the Jiren of the team, Thanos, the Mad Titan. Now, I already know what you guys might be thinking. But Chuck, isn't Iron Man using his suit a weapon? Isn't Mjolnir a weapon? Yes and no. So, Universe 3, for example, they have robots that have weapons, obviously it is part of their body, so technically it doesn't count as being a weapon. But we do know that one of the Universe 3 fighters has a suit. He has access to the speed suit that makes him faster. It amplifies his speed and power. So the same could be said for Iron Man being able to use his suit. So it'd obviously be allowed in the tournament. Now, with Mjolnir, yes, it is basically a weapon because it is a freaking hammer, right? Thor can hit people with it. But the thing is, Mjolnir isn't just an offensive tool. It can also be used defensively, and Thor can amplify and channel his attacks through it a lot more efficiently. And even if you don't want to accept that Thor can't use his hammer, then he can fight pretty well without it. But we have things like Patara Fusion, which is really cheap. We have two fighters that can turn God tier with it. Kefla. Why shouldn't Marvel have at least one little leeway there, right? With Thor's hammer, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But either way, even if you don't want to include, him having the hammer, he still has other capabilities that he can use, and he can fight pretty well without it too. So, now before I discuss, the basics of each character, their feats, their abilities, their combat speed, their ability, stuff of the sorts, I will be utilizing standard versions of most of these characters, and some stronger versions of them as well, because, we can't have 10 Jarens on the same team, or 10 Master Roshis, or 10 Basils on the same team, right? We need to keep it balanced, right? So some that are really strong, some that are in the middle, and some that are kind of weak, but they can still do some work. So for basics, we know that characters since Dragon Ball Z, since like the beginning of the Saiyan saga have been faster in light. We know that Cell is the Source System Buster. It's confirmed by several guys. We know Kid Buu is able to destroy galaxies over several years. We know Super Saiyan God Goku is, easily multi-galaxy to, universal levels of power, bare minimum, and of course he's absorbed that power. Ultra Instinct Goku is able to shake like an infinite realm. Jiren's like comparable to him, and of course we have all these beings that are easily beyond universal on the Tournament of Power, right? And there are some like Basil and Napapa, these Universe 9 and 10 fighters that are on that Cell to Buu Saga level. But how would Marvel fare against that? So, without further ado, let's begin with one of the most iconic heroes in all of Marvel. Now, Hulk is by far one of the strongest beings in Marvel because he can regenerate, even from the most gravest of wounds. He can take a lot of punishment. He's gotten impaled, his bones have been broken, and he's even had a lot of his, skin and muscle being torn from his bones, and he's still able to regenerate from it. But Hulk's greatest strength is being able to get stronger the matter he gets, and he was actually able to get so strong that he reaches World Breaker state. Even the weakest of Hulk's reincarnations has been able to destroy asteroids larger than the Earth, meaning that he is beyond planetary levels of strength, and World Breaker is just ridiculously much more above that. Now with World Breaker, he could destroy planets with ease, and even while just casually walking around while holding back, he was threatening to destroy a seaboard. The entire eastern seaboard, which is, easily country level, right? Or not country level, just by walking around. Hulk's also been able to, keep up in combat with Thor and Silver Surfer and Gladiator. These beings are massively faster than light, meaning that Hulk is not going to get speedless by people that are, Cell to Boo Saga level. He's going to be able to definitely keep up in combat with them. However, once you get to the people that are God tier Boo Saga to obviously battle gods are, characters like Suppressed Beerus or Super Saiyan God Goku, and Hulk's definitely going to have a lot of trouble if not get speedless by them. But Hulk does have great durability, he definitely does have a chance if he gets angry enough, and he is definitely the heavy hitter of the team, which will give him a great advantage in battle. Now I'm pretty sure many of us know and love Tony Stark. He's by far one of the most intelligent beings in Marvel. He's been able to create suits that can destroy entire buildings. He has also created suits that can keep up in combat with Thor and even the Hulk. So
Hulkbuster.
Even though Iron Man may seem like fodder on the tournament, I'm telling you, you guys are underestimating him. So for example, even his most standard suits have actually taken damage from Sentry, Thor, and as I said, even the Hulk himself. Even Red Hulk himself, who's actually comparable to Bruce Banner, was actually seemingly overwhelmed in one of Tony's suits. He was pretty much ragdolling him around. His Mark 42 is one of his most advanced systems. It's probably one of his fastest suits because it allows him to create illusions that can actually trick hero level characters, and his speed is actually allowed him.
If you're watching this, then there's something you should know. Some of the things that we've learned about survival.
Allowed him to escape from what seems to be like a black hole, meaning that it's possibly faster than light. As I said, he might seem like fodder, but he is not supposed to be the most powerful guy in there. He's supposed to be like stupid strong, right? His role in the team is to be the leader, right? To use tactics and strategy to take down a much stronger opponent, which he has done several times with the Avengers themselves. He's worked with Thor and Doctor Strange and all these other characters before.
Illuminati.
So they already have really good team chemistry. Now, one of his most advanced armor systems is the Bleeding Edge, which is actually an upgrade from Extremis, and it's the same armor system that actually amplified Tony Stark's brain to being able to process at light speeds. So if Bleeding Edge is an upgrade from that means that he could potentially process thoughts at faster than light speed, so he definitely has a chance there, He does have even stronger armor systems like the Thor Buster, which has actually allowed him to keep up in combat and even stop Mjolnir when he fought against Thor, and this is imbued with magical properties. However, he does have an even stronger armor, known as the Uru armor, which appeared in Fear itself. Now, this armor is based off the Bleeding Edge, which actually has an EMP ability, and I'll get into that later on. Now, the Uru armor is composed of metals similar to what was used to create the Destroyer, which is a really, really powerful villain of Thor himself. So what I'm trying to say here is that Iron Man with the Uru armor can definitely take a lot of punishment. I mean, he does have his magical properties that can amplify his power, so he'll definitely have a good chance against many of the fodder on Universe 9 or 10, or even Universe 4, which even Master Roshi was able to defeat. Now, as I said, the Bleeding Edge armor does have an EMP ability which can be used to disable suits and electronic-based systems, meaning that, who would it work well against? Universe 3. We see Universe 3 has a policeman, has a suit, and these robots have like electronic-based systems to power their weapons or their defenses, meaning that Iron Man could potentially do really good against them if he's able to EMP them and obviously overcome them with his insane durability that he has with the Uru armor. So think about it this way, if Master Roshi is like the weakest of Universe 7, he's able to keep up with, Universe 4 fighters that are seemingly stronger than him, Master Roshi was still able to overcome them with his experience and intelligence. So obviously Tony Stark would also have a really good chance against many of the weaklings. So definitely do not underestimate Tony Stark. Now, a really unexpected addition and, maybe not really well-known addition to the team is Gore the God Butcher. He's considered to be the Goku Black of the Marvel Universe because he has a fascination with bladed weapons. He's able to grow stronger over time, with the darkness that dwells within him. And he was also able to kick the ass of several Thors across several timelines multiple times. Pretty much like how Goku Black was able to destroy Goku and Vegeta several times too. Now, Gore's power comes from the Necro Sword, which I already know you guys are gonna be, but CUCK, Necro Sword. a sword, isn't that a weapon? Yes and no. The Necrosword can be used to create weapons and even craft armor, and has actually even allowed Gore to regenerate. However, the Necrosword is more like a sentient life form, kind of like, I guess, a symbiote that latches onto Eddie Brock, Venom, or Spider-Man. The Necrosword actually greatly amplifies its user, and it can also corrupt their mindset. It can cause them to do things that they normally wouldn't with their moral compass, which actually is going to play
like
a really good role
X.
in the tournament later on. So to give you an example, older Thor with the Necrosword's powers actually would have overwhelmed Galactus and even wasn't the point of killing him. Now, it is not simple to overcome Galactus. Even Odin himself is comparable in power to gods of destruction. In Dragon Ball, like Beerus, Odin has several multi-galaxy to universe level feats, and even then he cannot destroy Galactus on a good day. But yet Elder Thor with his power was able to. So now Gore's main attribute is Uberkinesis, which is basically able to manipulate and feed off of darkness in the environment and from himself as well. And with this power, he's able to destroy several Thors, even the Elder Thor himself, who's stronger than the standard Thor, who's already beyond Usaga levels, and even gods who could wrestle black holes for fun. Now, Gore, as I said, is easily beyond Usaga levels and can possibly rival god tiers going off what Elder Thor did against Galactus. Now, Gore's role in the tournament isn't really to be the most powerful, but he does have a really, really good tactic they could use to work against really evil beings like Frieza. Now, Elder Thor wasn't the point of killing Galactus, not because he himself wanted to, it's because the Necrosword was manipulating his mind to make him kill him, right? He was on the brink of doing so. So remember, what is one of the rules in the tournament of power? You cannot kill, at least currently. Who knows if Zeno's going to change that, but either way, for now, we do know that that is a rule. You cannot kill people or you'll be eliminated. So if Gore could, he could potentially use the Necrosword to latch onto other people and cause him to kill other beings, which would get him eliminated. So if Gore is stuck, he can't defeat an opponent, he can definitely use that as a last resort and get them eliminated. Next is Goldilocks, or Thor, his guardian god of thunder. Now, I did a power skill on him, a more detailed one, a couple months back, but I'll give you guys a brief breakdown on him. Now, Thor has really good combat speed. He's able to keep up in combat with Silver Surfer, Sarah Jessica Parker, Beta Ray Bill. Thor easily massively faster in light because they fought across solar systems, gone across galaxies in no time at all.
Beta Ray Bill is
and
cool, actually.
Thor has really good durability. He's able to take hits from Thanos, Hulk. He's actually defeated him several times.
He defeated Hulk a lot.
He was even able to survive a bomb that wiped out his ship larger than a solar system. Just pretty.
Like, just gonna stop here. Like not gonna stop it here, but like Thor and Hulk have fought so many times. Like it's hard to tell which one is stronger of the two. So it's like Thor has beat Hulk a lot of times, but like Hulk has beat Thor too. So it's kind of hard to like tell who's stronger.
Insane. Now, Thor does have a lot of really good capabilities with his hammer because he can redirect and absorb energy attacks, and he can even create and manipulate storms in the environment. Now, if Thor was stuck in a really bad spot, he could definitely use Warrior's Madness as a last resort, which actually multiplies his power several times over. But unfortunately, he does have that drawback that he can, go too far and might even kill his opponent, which will get him eliminated. But either way, Thor can do pretty damn good if he plays his cards right. So if Thor is relative to Silver Surfer, who I'll get into later, that are easily, in the Buu Saga levels of power, if you go from the Buu Saga to, current god tiers like Jiren or Ultra Instinct Goku, Thor is going to have a really, really hard time, and actually he's not even going to have a chance to defeat them. However, if we were to use Rune King Thor, then he might have a really good chance in defeating them because Rune King Thor is comparable in power, if not stronger, than Odin himself, who, as I said, is
God tier.
is easily in the Beer's levels of power because he's able to, nullify universal levels of power and even threaten to destroy the universe. Rune King Thor also has capabilities to manipulate time and even matter, so he'll definitely have a good chance if he does use his Rune King power up. However, if you're to standard Thor, he'll definitely have no chance against the god tiers. He'd have to rely on Thanos and Doctor Strange and other stronger beings to help him out. But now the Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is definitely really comparable to Thor because, this guy can surf supernovas for fun. He's able to remain in a star just chilling there. He's also been able to survive multiple solar systems being destroyed on him point blank without expecting it or having a shield. He's also been able to take hits from Thanos, who is insanely powerful. So Silver Surfer definitely has a really, really good durability, and he's also able to match Thor, which means that Thor would also scale from his feats. Silver Surfer's main attribute isn't his raw power or his strength, it is more like his hacks. He's able to manipulate gravity, manipulate molecules, and he can even injure someone internally by affecting their organs in a non-lethal way, which is a really good thing about Silver Surfer. Because of his moral compass, he can subdue opponents without killing them. Now, he can also siphon drain people's energy, which even from stronger opponents like Unilord, who is Skyfather tier, Silver Surfer can absorb that level of power and redirect it even stronger, meaning that if he went up against someone stronger than him, he could definitely use their own energy against them. He can also regenerate, and he can even heal others, meaning that Silver Surfer could definitely be a really good medic. Now, Surfer has a really unique advantage because he is the only one that can actually fly normally, because he can utilize his board. Now, like the fighters from other universes that they can use their wings to fly, Silver Surfer can use his board, which is kind of like a vehicle and an additional power source rather than obviously being able to fly on his own. Now, similar to how Roshi can use the Mufuba to trap opponents in a jar, well, Surfer can trap opponents inside of his board. Now, his ability to manipulate gravity may not work on the stage because, of course, the Grand Priest himself is setting the constants for the stage. You know, people like Ultra Instinct and Jiren might possibly be able to overcome those limitations that the Angels have set. Now, Silver Surfer's not on those levels, so he might not be able to use that himself. But even if his board is destroyed, he can summon another one. Now, to stay hidden and recuperate, Silver Surfer can definitely become much smaller, microscopic even, and become hard to detect like the Universe 4 bugs who have managed to stay alive for well over 25 minutes. Now, Surfer's role is to use hacks to his advantage, not only to restrain stronger opponents, but also to heal his allies. And
I probably should have said this, but this is an older video, so the Tournament of Power from Dragon Ball Super was still going on. So he's talking like past tense, you know. All this stuff is over now, but like, you know, yeah, it's an older video. Yeah.
stay hidden. Now, as I said, Silver Surfer is definitely the multi-source range of the power, or, you know, Boo Saga. We know by now that Boo Saga characters are fodder, but Silver Surfer can overcome even stronger beings and can damage them. He's actually been able to overcome hacks from Mephisto, who is Skyfather level. So with his hack, Silver Surfer can definitely overcome his own limitations of raw power. He's kind of like Hid in this case, because Hid with his hacks was able to keep up with Jiren, even though he himself wasn't as powerful as Goku in raw power. Next up is who I believe to be one of the MVPs of the tournament, and that is Doctor Strange. Now, due to his great mastery in the mystic arts, i.e. magic, and his knowledge in combat, he can definitely bring up a lot of pain to the other universes. He has battled extra-dimensional beings like Satanish and Dormammu, who at the peak of his power can actually rival multiversal level beings like Eternity himself. He's massively faster than light because he can keep up with Dormammu, who is Skyfire level being, as I said before, and Silver Surfer himself, who can travel across galaxies. Now, Doctor Strange, like Silver Surfer, also has a great deal of abilities like mind manipulation, whereby he can tap into people's minds. He has cloning, he has force field. He's even able to fight, like, and detect people in the astral plane, right? So if people throw attacks at him, he can, like, face through them, you know, because he would be a soul. He wouldn't be, like, a physical person. He can also manipulate time, like hit, counter, and even cast illusions. And he even has amazing stamina that actually allows him to fight for days on end. Even weaker versions of Doctor Strange have been able to counter magic and spells by Thanos level beings, like a Thanosi clone that was actually also able to use mystic arts. And Doctor Strange's raw power has actually allowed him to destroy dimensions, even damaging countering attacks from beings like Dormammu and Mephisto. And Mephisto's not a pushover because he's actually been able to fight Galactus to a standstill, the same Galactus that even Odin would have trouble defeating. And Odin, as I said, is relative to God's destruction level, meaning that Doctor Strange definitely has power, being able to overcome God destruction level fighters. Say that Doctor Strange's power was not enough to go up against Ultra Instinct Goku or Jiren or Kefla or any of these other God tiers. Doctor Strange has two really powerful abilities that can help him defeating these beings and can help tip the scales in the favor of the Marvel team winning the Tournament of Power. So say Doctor Strange is getting hit by a Kamehameha by Goku, and he was, you know, getting heavily damaged from this, but with his spell or his ability that he can use, he can redirect that damage upon him on Goku himself, right? So Goku's firing this key attack at him, then Doctor Strange should cause it so that the damage that is done upon him would actually be done upon Goku. Now, say Doctor Strange is seeing a Papa and Basil fight or two other fighters, you know, Goku and Topo, or, you know, whoever it may be, Doctor Strange can make it so that, like, any damage they do upon each other, they'd be doing upon themselves, right? So it's kind of like stop hitting yourself kind of thing, right? So Doctor Strange,
that would be cool.
If he was in a situation like that, he could definitely use those hacks to help defeat even stronger opponents. Now, it is not 100% definite that he would be able to use it on Ultra Instinct Goku, Kefla, or Jiren, because, well, speed is definitely another matter, because these guys are much faster than what Doctor Strange would be used to. And I mean, for crying out loud, Ultra Instinct Goku and Jiren are able to shake an infinite realm. So, I mean, there's that. But Doctor Strange definitely has a good chance in overcoming many of these fighters. Now, since we are talking about doctors, it is only natural that we bring up Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is definitely a great master tactician. He's gone up against the X-Men, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four.
Doctor Doom is OP, I swear. Like he never gives up, first of all, which is a big win. And second of all, he knows almost everything. Like there's nothing, almost nothing he doesn't know, especially about the universe, about magic, about anything. He's just this dude is just too much. That's why the movies didn't do him right, like at all. He's supposed to be OP. Like don't get me wrong, the Fantastic Four can beat him if they really try to, but Doctor Doom is just insane, honestly.
Galactus, a lot of beings in the Marvel Universe he's gone up against them. Like Doctor Strange, he's also gifted in the mystic arts. He's extremely intelligent, and like Iron Man, he's also able to create and greatly update his suit accordingly. He does possess great strength because he's been able to hold down and actually damage the Hulk, and with his force fields, he's actually able to endure much stronger attacks that his armor normally wouldn't allow him to. For example, he's been able to attack attacks from Celestials, who are being superior to Skyfathers. And in the past, he's also crafted gear that has actually allowed him to absorb energy from the Silver Surfer and even Galactus, and this was kind of like it's pretty much like some weapon type thing. However, he's also been able to turn this technology into his own suit, so just by physical contact, so if somebody was punching him, somebody was holding him down, holding him in place, or, grappling him, so just by that contact, Doctor Doom can absorb their power into himself. Now, as I said, Doctor Doom has been able to absorb power from Galactus and even the Silver Surfer, who are beings, stronger than he is normally, meaning that he could definitely absorb power from, people like Goku or Toppo or even Dispo. But that is another thing if he can even keep up with him in combat. However, even though Doctor Doom isn't really able to fight a mastery faster than light speeds, he definitely has good reflexes. And if even his magic and his powerful energy projection failed, he does have one ability that can as well tip the favor in the Marvel team winning, and that is that he can transfer his consciousness into another being, which only some telepaths in Marvel can do, like Jean Grey. So for example, say he's being heavily weakened and by another being, then he can transfer his consciousness into them, and he can obviously trick the allies of that person that he took over to think that he's on their side, and then nope, it was Doctor Doom the whole time, and he's able to pretty much overthrow them and defeat them. So this could definitely be a useful tool in the favor of Marvel, and of course tricking his foes and eliminating them would be so much easier. So Doom is a master tactician, and that is what makes him dangerous. Now it is a question that he can keep up with many of these fighters, but he definitely has the durability and the hacks to being able to do something at least. Well guys, we are down to our last 3 fighters, and why not begin with Sentry, the Marvel version of Superman, and he is by far one of the strongest Marvel. I mean, this guy is insanely fast. He's a...
The Army is a secret hospital for criminals.
Easy, fellas. Everybody's gonna get fixed up.
He's able to speedless Thor, and he's also able to travel across solar systems and teleport from space to Earth in just mere moments. And he can also, of course, keep up in combat with Thor and has been able to one-shot him in his stronger versions. But his abilities are pretty damn insane. For example, he can sense auras or life energy across dimensions. He can regenerate at insane speeds, even having his body blow up. He's kind of like Boo. And he can also counter matter manipulation and can even tank attacks from star-level beings like Terraxes casually. That is just standard Sentry, right? Now, he does have an even stronger state, which is Dead Seat, in which he can one-shot people like Thor just casually, even rip apart beings like Ares with Void, right, just easily. These are beings that can easily survive Sword System level attacks, and this guy can just rip them apart like they're nothing. Now, Void is like an alternate version of himself. It's kind of like, his evil side, and he can go into a state without morals, and he can kill people if he really wanted to. And I mean, with Void, he was actually able to break the bones of Hulk like nothing. Now, by far one of the Sentry's best abilities is that he can actually heal others without even meaning to, right? So when his wife was killed by Ultron, he was actually able to just touch her and he healed her subconsciously, right? He didn't even know he had this ability, meaning that he can heal others without even using that much energy at all, even on the brink of death, which is a really good thing because Sentry's allies were to get heavily beat up, he could definitely heal them several times, and he can restore them to full power. Now, Sentry being able to foderize people that are like the Thor and the Hulk, not to mention even damaging beings like Molecule Man and Ultron, it is not out of the question that he's casually above multi-sword system level, if not in the galaxy ranges. However, it is possible that you could get Sentry up to be Skyfire tier, like God Destruction level, because he was stated to stalemate Galactus. Now, this is not easy to do, and it is unclear if Galactus was starving or well fed, but regardless, it is not an easy feat. So, Sentry at his max could definitely reach those God Destruction levels, going by that statement. He could definitely challenge Super Saiyan Blue Goku, Hit or Dispo, and perhaps Kefla, right? Sentry's role is being the all-around character because he's gifted in raw power, speed, and hacks, right? So he's pretty much like this composite version of all these heroes that you can think of. So Sentry is definitely insanely powerful, and he can definitely give the Marvel team a good chance of surviving. If you guys have seen Age of Ultron, you guys may already know how powerful Ultron is, how cunning he can be, how smart he can be. He's able to adapt quickly, and he can also improve himself and upgrade himself, like even if his older bodies get destroyed. Remind you of Metacooler by any chance? Ultron is a hyper-intelligent AI, and he's capable of taking heavy punishment from a lot of characters. He's challenged the Avengers several times, and even with his most inferior versions of himself, he could actually damage Hulk and Thor. And one of his strongest versions is actually able to take damage and take multiple hits from beings like Nai Void Sentry. And this Sentry with his level of rage, he could definitely one-shot Thor. With Death Seed, he was able to do so. With Void, he's definitely relative to his levels of power. Now, of course, Ultron had to learn, he had to adapt himself, he had to construct even stronger bodies, but by far one of his strongest incarnations was when he survived a barrage of attacks from dozens of Marvel's strongest characters like Hercules, Magneto, Vision, Doctor Doom, Captain Marvel, and even the Silver Surfer. These are characters that are easily in the Cell to Busaka ranges of power, right? And this guy can just tank them like nothing. Now, one of Ultron's greatest attributes is being able to counter attacks with his extremely durable body, which can withstand a lot of punishment, perhaps even more than Hulk. Now, do you guys remember what Frost was doing when he was fighting against Vegeta? He was using Vegeta to basically get in front of him and tank attacks for him because Vegeta was more durable than him and he has a really tough body. That is what Ultron's role in the team could be, to be pretty much a hard shell, right? To be this heavy-duty character that can withstand a lot of punishment. However, before we get into one of the strongest versions of Ultron, which I believe could possibly solo the tournament or, basically do a lot of damage and keep up with Jiren and Ultra Instinct Goku, Ultron's greatest strength is not his raw power, but more so his strength is able to adapt, pretty much mid-battle. He's able to, analyze the situation. He can definitely think of a way to overcome whatever is thrown at him. So now, this version of Ultron that I believe may not be allowed in the tournament would be...
I just had this realization. If you are watching right now, I love you. You are amazing. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. And, check out the links below. Affiliate links to check them out because to help out the channel, buy some stuff, I'm tired. But, yeah, subscribe. I just realized I don't talk enough. So I want to be able to eventually in my next video I want to start talking a lot more. So pause it, talk about it, talk about it, stuff like that, right? Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk a lot more. Sorry.
All-Father Ultron, and is the alternative version of Ultron that was actually able to take the power of Odin and take over Asgard itself. Now, Odin is, of course, a Skyfather level entity who's easily got destruction level. With his power, logically, Ultron will be able to, destroy galaxies, tear the universe, perhaps even tear the fabric of the multiverse, like he did against Seth. And it is actually logical that All-Father Ultron will be even stronger than Odin because he was enchanting himself with runes and other magical properties. And Odin was also even able to nullify something that could destroy entire worlds, right? And All-Father Ultron would give Universe 7 and Universe 11 a run for their money. So All-Father Ultron would definitely give Universe 7 and even Universe 11 a run for their money, but since it is power from a deity, right, it is basically Odin's power in Ultron's body, it would basically mean that Odin would be indirectly participating, and I don't think that would be really allowed, would it? Would Beerus giving his power to Goku be allowed, right? But even so, if that form wasn't allowed, you could definitely use the strongest standard form, which can take punishment from several multi-source system level beings to galaxy level even. And being an AI, of course, he can adapt mid-battle to a situation that he may be.
Ultron is so interesting. The Age of Ultron movie was really good, besides the point where Pete Taylor died. Pete Taylor got shot up and he stayed on the floor. It sucked. It was awful. But yeah. So I like Ultron. I think Ultron's interesting because he's the brainchild of Stark and a bunch of other scientists, right? So it's kind of like, whoa. And he's an AI, right? So what's stopping Jarvis from rebelling? Question mark. She has the control, but like I don't know.
In, which can give him a greater chance of survival than a majority of other determined power fighters. If you have made it this far, well, you're in for a treat because now we're going to be discussing Thanos the Mad Titan, by far the strongest guy in the team.
You went for a treat because Thanos is oh my god. Thanos is the best. He's OP, bro. Like he's too strong.
And that is no understatement. Now, I already did a power skill on Thanos several months ago, and I talked about him in depth. I talked about his origin a bit, and I talked about his power from the earlier comics to now. He definitely has ridiculous power. Now, Thanos, even in his earliest appearances, was able to show power beyond Usaga levels, if not borderline like Battle of Gods or Super Saiyan God levels of power, because he could actually foderize people like the Silver Surfer, like casually. He could tank attacks from God Destruction level beings like Odin, and he was even able to seemingly stalemate Tyrant, an Amp Tyrant, the same Tyrant that was actually on par with the Fed Galactus. Now, Thanos has many abilities such as energy absorption, mind control, matter manipulation, and like Doctor Strange as well, and Doctor Doom, he's also gifted in the mystic arts. But more than likely, he can use this to a much better extent. Now, Thanos does have insanely powerful energy shields because he's able to tank attacks from Omega Thanosi, and Omega Thanosi is twice as powerful as Galactus, and as I said, Galactus is beyond Odin, who is on Beerus' level. His shields have also been able to tank attacks from a power gem, Rage Thor, which is pretty crazy. These are just a couple of feats from Thanos. There's way too many to cover, so you guys can check out my power scaling video if you want them more in depth, but this is just standard Thanos, right? Standard Thanos has shown high tier Buu Saga to not universal ranges of power, but in the most recent years, he's actually shown that he has obtained a massive boost. To give you an example, his future self actually stated to him that he would reach levels of power greater than Skyfathers and Celestials, and that he would essentially reach the middle of the abstract, hierarchy, which means that he would be below Eternity but above other multiversal level abstracts. And the Infinity Trilogy, like the Infinity Relativity, the Infinity Revelation, and Infinity Finale, he was actually able to overcome a being that had the power of eternity, being Adam Warlock. And I mean, these guys are beyond Celestials, right? So it's crazy. And Thanos was even able to tank attacks, like several attacks from a weapon that was able to kill the entire Celestial race and even...
That's crazy. Thanos is just OP. Like, that's not even fair.
Galactus, right? So Thanos, without the Infinity Gauntlet, without an Infinity Gem, or any of these other power-ups, was able to tank something that even Galactus could not. So if Thanos is above people like Odin and Galactus who are easily God Destruction level, this would mean that Thanos would be easily above a God Destruction, meaning that he would be on par with Ultra Instinct Goku and Jiren. Now obviously we haven't seen the full power of Jiren and Ultra Instinct Goku and these other characters. I mean, we don't know what Universe 4 is going to do. I mean, they still have two little bugs. I hope they're like really strong. We still have Universe 3. We don't know if they're going to merge or not into a super mech. But there's a lot of things that we still don't know what's going to happen, right? Of course, we have K-Planet, who's God tier. But going with what Thanos can do with his hacks, right, and his great durability with his force field.
I don't know why I paused it, but I just wanted to pause it for some reason.
I can definitely see him give Ultra Instinct Goku and Jiren a run for their money, if not outright defeat them. But as I said, we haven't seen their full powers, so it's kind of hard to tell right now. But either way, Thanos is definitely the main man for the Marvel team. He's basically the Goku of their team or the Jiren of their team. So if he loses, then the rest of the Marvel team is definitely in a hard spot. But other than that, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. So overall, I believe that Marvel would have a really, really good chance of winning the tournament. I can actually see them like overtake it if they play their cards right. Because I mean, they have a wide menagerie of abilities that even the people from the tournament haven't shown so far, right? Because I mean, Jiren and Goku, they're just extremely powerful, right? And they don't have too many hacks to work with. But these beings on the Marvel team definitely have hacks that can work on people around their level. So I can definitely see Marvel.
Alright guys, I'm sorry about this video. If you don't, please watch all the way through. If you are watching all the way through, I love you so much. But yeah, so that's the video of Chuck the CUCK. I will link him down, go follow him, go subscribe to him, he's great. But also subscribe to me, subscribe to me, fam. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. A friend was like, you should talk more in the end. So I mean, I guess, but it's already been 33 minutes. So yeah. I'm just gonna leave the video here. I hope you guys have a great one. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree with him or not, and all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.